Hello? Oh, I think it happened. Oh shit. We are live. Holy fuck. Okay. So, I've been kind of doing a nostalgia fest for a while. And I've been going back and checking out old shit from my channel, old videos that I did. And I'm always remembering that in 2017 that was apparently my prime and how I was doing shit. I was proud with what I was making. I had an editing style. I was good at it. And I remember all the nice memories that I had just sitting in my room, just editing the videos. And I remember, like, hold on, Carter. Sorry about that. And I don't know. There was a lot of things that I remember from doing YouTube in the past that it was always really fun. And I guess that's just the main takeaway from it all. Is just that it was really fun while it lasted. And now I have no desire to make videos, but I have desire to live stream. So this was an idea that was going to be a video, but every single time that I try to write a script for the video, it just kind of flat out would not work. Creative juices aren't very good when it comes to making a script, but creative juices have been getting better. But in turn, I just decided to go against it and just do live streaming. So today, we will be live streaming a tier list of all the complete main works of the 22 Studio Ghibli films minus the Lupin movie, and some Overwatch ships, if I'm able to make one, because I have no idea. Or I guess I could just open up Photoshop, see if I can get something. But alright. So you all are going to see a lot of sensitive information. So I'm trusting you all to not go ahead and fuck everything up. Alright. Let me get it up and running for you all. And then we should be set. Why? Why are you always opening up streams? There we go. Okay. So, welcome to Studio Ghibli, and here is the tier list. So, I'm gonna start explaining how or what Studio Ghibli is. Oh, Julia, what's up? What's up? I didn't know you changed your name. That's awesome. Hey, it's good to see you on. So Studio Ghibli is a Japanese entertainment industry which releases anime. These anime are beautifully well-crafted movies that have been going on and been releasing, I think, ever since the 1980s, maybe even the late 1970s. These movies were got heavy inspiration from actual Disney, and they tried to copy it, and in turn ended up becoming one of the most well-known companies to release childhood nostalgia and actual childhood movies. Don't recall changing it. Okay. Yo, what's up? Okay, so with each of these entries, I'm going to be going in great detail about the plot and everything that I had problems with, or everything that I saw good, and giving my initial reason for the ranking for each of these movies. So spoilers will be present. Oh, hey Matt, what's up? Okay, so yes, Matt. Nice to see you joining, and I'm guessing that's Hunter. Hello, Hunter. Uh, Nice to see you both on here. And so we have I'm changing subjects every single time. Yeah, I saw you were playing Town of Salem. I kind of figured that's what you may have been doing. So, let me play some music because I'm realizing it is kind of dead air and we do need something. But while I'm getting Spotify open, finding a playlist, let me explain the tiers and how the tier list will work. At the very bottom, we have Don't Waste Your Time, which is for the worst downgraded movies. Don't watch them at all. And then we have Enjoy. What? No, I'm sorry. That one had to be switched, and now I gotta change some shit. Lovely. Okay. So, yeah, Don't Waste Your Time. These are the worst rated movies. Mediocre. These are movies that have problems but can be seen as good in the right eyes, maybe. Enjoyable and above are the tiers that relatively there are not a whole lot of problems that can really hinder what I think about the film as a whole. I think it is genuinely good. I think there isn't a whole lot of things wrong with it, and I genuinely believe that it got the praise it deserved. With Watch It Again, these are movies that are normally pretty much long films, but they are very enjoyable to watch like once and then, show it to a friend later, or like a family movie type deal. So you wouldn't watch these all the time, but they're a great movie to come back to. Then we have Slightly Less Than Perfect, which are the movies that I don't deem to be top tier, but definitely have their own place. Then we have the perfect movies, which are absolutely undeniable, perfect Ghibli movies that anyone should definitely watch in their time. And then we have the Ghibli movies. Now, the Ghibli movies are the top tier shit. The top tier movies. So, with that said in mind, if a movie is far to the left, so if it's all the way onto the left, that means I deem it to be the best movie in that tier. If it is in front, all the other movies to the right, that means I deem that movie better than those. And I think, with all that said in mind, I think we can start on this massive tier list that actually took a year to get done. And I will be joined by my boyfriend, who is now entering the room. Hello, baby.
Hello.
So I watched all these movies with my boyfriend during when quarantine was starting. And it took us about a year to finally get through it, mainly kind of because of my fault, but partly not because of my fault. Are the speakers even picking that up? My speakers are not. Okay, there we go. It's what's slowly picking it up. Okay. So just playing some music in the background, just so there's something that you all can listen to, and there's not a whole lot. Okay, no, that's fine. You can open it again. So, originally this was going to be a video, and we had done a randomizer. We had done a randomizer wheel, and we had a specific order on how we wanted these movies to be presented. So in the order that you see right now down at the bottom is the order that the wheel chose it for us. And the order we watched it. Thank you, baby. So, as you can see, Spirited Away is the last one, and we always found that very funny. We also had Totoro be one of the last ones as well, which we also thought was really fucking funny. The two main Ghibli movies that gained the most popularity and the most notoriety are the last two that we had to watch. So, as a sort of ironic suspense, the two greatest movies you will have to wait for till the very end. Alright, so let's start with Princess Mononoke. Princess Mononoke, overall, I think, is an awesome film. I think it's very good. I definitely do see that it has a lot of problems with it, especially when it comes to voice acting and characters. and how everything is kind of portrayed with the voice acting of the characters, specifically in the English dub. With Ashitaka and Princess Mononoke, the two main characters, they sound very boring, they sound very bland, especially Ashitaka. With Princess Mononoke, she's passable. Definitely some lines could have been redone a lot, but the movie, even though their two main characters gave a performance that wasn't the best, in my opinion, I think everything else of the film was really fantastic. I kind of liked everything. I liked the world. I liked what they did with it. I loved the nature theme, and when it's kind of done right. And I liked the primeval war theme they did with Princess Mononoke. This movie was very fucking long. It was 2.5 hours, and I was told by Aaron, because he likes to look up trivia and know a lot about the films, and I'm just relaying the information onto you, that apparently if anything was cut out from this movie, Hayao Miyazaki, who is the director for most of these movies, probably wouldn't have released the movie. It had to include everything, or else the story would not make sense, and I totally agree with that notion. I'm pretty sure if a scene was cut out, it wouldn't make much sense. Overall, I think this movie is enjoyable. Next, actually, hold on, wait. I need to pull up the reference photo that I specifically saved on Discord so I could use this just in case I mess up on where I actually put my answers. Because it's been a while and I had to restart it. So it, yeah, that's why I sent it to you, so I could remember.
I thought it was just, I looked at it and I was like, yeah, I've seen this a lot, all the time.
Next we have Princess Nausicaa. We have Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind is fucking phenomenal. It is an awesome fucking movie. I'm pretty sure he threatened some of the companies by sending them an authentic samurai sword. Is that true? Can you fact check that?
It might have been from Mononoke.
Yeah, he's asking for Mononoke. He's asking if it actually was.
So, the story that I heard was about Princess Mononoke, where, oh, hello. The story I heard was about Princess Mononoke, where whoever was editing the film, or someone who is not Miyazaki, was like, hey, can we shorten the film at all? And then Miyazaki sent them a samurai sword with a note that just said, no cuts. I'm pretty sure it was Mononoke, because it's so long.
I mean, that was his baby film.
Yeah, that was his baby.
It was his baby. It was, like, what was that? Like, his first work?
No.
Or one of... That was Nausicaa? Nausicaa was his first?
No, Nausicaa was the first movie. I don't know all of the directors.
Okay, well, that's fine. There are a lot of directors, but Nausicaa was the first one. Okay. More on Nausicaa. Nausicaa is a dystopian kind of future setting where everything is kind of in a regressive age. I think that's the word. Everything's like a farm, but everything also has the sci-fi element and all these monsters, this jungle that is causing havoc, and these creatures called ohms, and 7 other worldly destructors that can literally destroy the earth, and what caused this whole apocalypse in the first place. We follow Princess Mononoke, we follow Nausicaa basically through her journey of trying to stop this war between the ohms and humans, and another human faction towards their human faction. There's a lot of like fighting going on. There are a lot of wars in all of these movies. I am dead serious. Every single one of these movies has to have a fucking war. Like Princess Mononoke, Nausicaa, The Wind Rises, House Moving Castle, Tales from Earthsea, Grave of the Fireflies, Castle in the Sky, Porco Rosso. I think maybe Kiki? I think it was... Okay, Kiki did not have a war, but I think there was something with the Lindenberg, that to me sounded like a reference to World War One. We had Ponyo, who had a bunch of navy ships and armies.
What?
Pompoko was literally a war. I think, was there a war mentioned in Princess Kaguya? I think there was. No. From Up on Poppy Hill, it was mentioned that the main character's father was in the war, or at least in the army. Uh, I think that's kind of it. I think like a good chunk of these movies have wars in it, and it's very odd. But with Princess Mononoke, the world is very interesting and it's very nice. It's very captivating. The English dub, since most of these movies were watched in English dub, although we didn't mind watching things in Japanese dubs, and some of them even sounded better in Japanese dubs. Nausicaa was a really good English dub, so we just watched it, and just because it would be easier for me to accurately critique the voice acting specifically. And with Nausicaa, they all gave a very good performance. I know it had Patrick Stewart in it. They have Studio Ghibli's always having a lot of like popular names, but they always make it work. And with Nausicaa, there were a lot of popular people. None of them are really coming to my head right now, but overall, I think this film is just amazing. I can't really describe it in the words that it really needs to, but trust me, this film is amazing, and I definitely think you should watch it. It goes in the perfect tier. That is how good this movie is. Yeah. Patrick Stewart was Nausicaa's mentor. Next, we have When Marnie Was There. Now, when I first watched this movie, I don't really cry. I don't really cry when I watch movies, and if I do, it's like, tears, coming down. When I watched this movie, I kid you not, I cried, and I was actually sobbing and, like, ugly crying, like crying a shit ton through the entire credits of the movie. Something like that has never happened. I watched this movie 2 other times after that, and I still cried every single time. This movie is very sad in its storytelling, and it tells it in such a beautiful way. The thing is, people fucking hate this movie for some reason, and I don't know why. People really fucking hate this movie. Aaron tells me that you have to have a mental illness to watch this movie, like anxiety at the very least, to at least somewhat understand the character.
It's my opinion time.
Okay.
So my theory on why a lot of people don't like When Marnie Was There is because I understand why they wouldn't like the plot twist and the overarching story. But When Marnie Was There was definitely made with a very specific target audience in mind, and that being like people who didn't feel accepted in their childhood, or people who are around the main character's age, and people who do have anxiety and have gone through similar things that Anna has gone through. Because I feel like if you don't know Anna's experience personally because you've lived through it, you don't enjoy the movie as much as you could.
And the whole plot of the movie is the main girl, Anna. This movie did not watch it in the English dub. There wasn't really an English dub available that we could watch, so we watched it in the Japanese dub. Japanese dub was very good. And the whole plot with the story is that we follow the main girl, Anna, who has a visible mental illness, which isn't very apparent in most of the Ghibli movies, so this was a shock. This was also the last Ghibli movie that Hayao Miyazaki released, before going on apparently a hiatus, because they're releasing a new movie. His son is. I know I am, and that's the thing with me. I just need to get high, and then my processing will slow down. Let me focus. You were right. Thank you. The plot with When Marnie Was There, which is the name of the movie, is Anna has anxiety, and her mother is sending her to a place that has a bunch of cleaner air, which will be better for her to breathe, because they're also thinking that she has asthma and anxiety, and just being there will help her calm down. While she is there, she discovers her family's past and learning to reconnect with her once broken family that she never really loved or got to meet. And in turn, because of that neglect and never really being able to see or get the love required by actual family, she feels like she's a burden. to literally everyone she's around, everyone she talks to, and everyone who genuinely cares about her. She has an adoptive mother who is getting paid by the government to take care of her, and she sees this as a burden. She thinks that she's causing her a lot of pain to where she has to get paid to take care of her. And so she keeps that a secret. She never really knew her parents, and she blames herself for their death, and she never knew basically anyone else. But she finds a mansion that is directly related to one of her family members, but it shows her when she was very young. And we find out that apparently they have this secret chemistry together, and that they really do care for each other, and this is the first person that we see Anna actually kind of indulge her feelings into. And we get to see more about these two characters. We learn that Marnie is actually being neglected by her parents, even though they're really great, and she's getting abused by her maids and the maid servant, and like, the maid leader, her grandma. And she's getting abused, and her parents aren't doing anything about it. And I think her parents died, and she just kind of left. She started her own family, got a daughter, and then her daughter hated her, got pregnant with a guy that she didn't like, and ran away. And they died in a car crash, and Marnie adopted Anna and took care of her, but a couple years afterwards, she died of old age, and she was then adopted by someone who wasn't family. The film is very, very sad. The voice acting is marvelous in my opinion. It's marvelous in my opinion. I think it's very good. A lot of the characters are really nice. It doesn't really give a whole lot of useless exposition on most of the characters, like most of the side characters. I think the island that she's staying on is really nice, and there is a really, really satisfying resolve towards the end. This movie is incredibly amazing and incredibly sad, and I definitely think it deserves all the praise it can from my words and how I can describe it. It's going in the perfect tier above Nausicaa. Next, we have The Wind Rises. And The Wind Rises is about a World War II? Is it World War II or World War One? Because I think it was during the 1940s, and if it's during the 1940s, it's World War II.
Japan talks about teaming up with Germany. Is that right?
Then that's World War II.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's before and
Okay, yeah. So this movie takes place before, during, and after World War II. And it's the second to last movie that was released right before Marnie, and Hayao Miyazaki got a lot of controversy about it because it seemed to have painted Japan in a negative light. And it also talked about their failures with the war. But this movie is just about a guy who just really fucking loves planes.
He also got a lot of flack for it because it had all the characters like smoking cigarettes very heavily and often.
Huh, okay.
Yeah, that's a big reason why people didn't like it. They were like, there's no kids in it and everyone is smoking.
It's a documentary. It's literally a documentary. It's a biography of someone.
It's based on it.
Yeah, it's based off an actual Japanese plane designer who just really fucking loved planes, and it was based on a true story. The story is very nice. It's very grounded. I don't even think it has that much of a filter. It's very open, and you get to see everything that was happening, all the struggles, the love relationship that he was having with his wife. Although I think the only complaint about this movie is that the pacing is very weird. It doesn't really tell you when it's skipping like 2 years in the future. But overall, I don't really think that was much of a takeaway for me, personally. Yet again, it could be a takeaway for anyone else. Overall, I think the pacing was really nice. It followed at least a nice cohesive storyline, and it showed his like 10 to 15 years in the fame in creating planes. English dub, we watched it in English dub. English dub was fucking perfect, honestly. The English dub for this one was phenomenal. I'm pretty sure out of most of these, if I mention something else, I think The Wind Rises may have the best English dub, maybe other than Ponyo. Overall, I don't think there's a lot more I can say about this movie. This movie is just fantastic. It's aesthetically pleasing to look at. The story is really nice. It doesn't treat you like an idiot, and it's about World War II in planes. And most of the characters are really, really good. It's a very good movie, honestly. I think anyone should definitely watch this movie. This is going in slightly less than perfect, mainly because there are a few critiques with it that I do not agree should be imperfect. Next, we have Howl's Moving Castle. Howl's Moving Castle, about Howl's Moving Castle, it is known as the Studio Ghibli movie that all women like. This is the most popular Ghibli movie with women, and Princess Mononoke was the most popular with men. And this has always been proven, because every single girl I ask about Studio Ghibli and their favorite movie, they always mention Howl's Moving Castle or Spirited Away. And whenever boys, at least if they even watch Studio Ghibli movie, if it wasn't Ponyo, probably will say Princess Mononoke or Nausicaa. Yeah, it's just buff ladies. Just really buff, strong fucking ladies. But Howl's Moving Castle was a delight. It was a really nice rom-com, and it was really enjoyable from beginning to end. The art was fucking phenomenal. The intricate design and like the wildish, like just his whole fucking castle is just trash upon trash upon trash, and it just fucking moves. And it has like 36 fucking rooms, and yet we see like 3. And that, I think that was part of it. I think it's just a normal house, just disguised to look something monstrous, just so he could hide. Yeah, it literally is. I think it really is just a normal house. It's like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a basement and a furnace. It is. Characters are a fucking delight. These characters are lovable in every shape and way, including the main villain, who is the evil witch. Maybe other than the queen, I don't really pay attention to the queen. I don't really like her storyline. It's just, she just wants help, but she's really naggy about it. But the Wicked Witch, I'm just gonna call her the Wicked Witch. Basically, she casts a curse on the main character to make her old because she's in love, and the only way to break it is to fall in love. And the only person that she feels like that she could be in love with is Hal, but she's constantly doubting herself about her abilities to even let herself fall in love. But Hal keeps reassuring her and bringing her through this magical journey, in which she learns that she actually does have feelings for him and does want to protect him, and and she doesn't want to let go of that feeling.
Howl's Moving Castle is also based on the book of the same name by Deanna Wynne Jones. She actually has written like a lot of other books that are very popular. But there's a huge difference between the movie and the book, and the general way that people describe it is the movie is how Hal tells the story, and the book is how Sophie tells the story. But generally, the book is really good if you want some more Sophie time.
Thank you for that, baby. Okay, so I think overall, Howl's Moving Castle, very fucking fun. Calcifer, who is a little fire demon, is voiced by the same dude who did Mike Wazowski from Monsters, Inc. And that's kind of the... Oh, wait. No. Hal was voiced by Christian Bale, who did Batman. I forgot about that. So, if you're ready to hear Batman himself voice a little blonde dude, go ahead. And also, if you want to hear Mike Wazowski basically verbally abuse everyone, and then once they verbally abuse him, he falters. Overall, this movie, very fucking enjoyable. Very fun to watch. Definitely watch it with someone, or else basically the whole thing is just going to get ruined. This is definitely a movie you should watch with at least someone you care about, a friend, a loved one, whoever. It's an enjoyable movie for all. This is going in the perfect tier behind Nausicaa. Next, we have Tales from Earthsea. I'm just going to tell you about this now. Don't waste your time with it. This movie fucking sucks. So, little backstory on this movie. This was the first movie released by Hayao Miyazaki's son, and Hayao Miyazaki is the main director and I think producer of most of the Studio Ghibli movies. His son made a movie integrating all 5 books from the Tales from Earthsea series into one movie, and ultimately when you try to do multiple works and put them into one, it's not going to go out as well. And this was the result of that. And this almost painted Hayao Miyazaki... No, not Hayao Miyazaki. Goro Miyazaki? Is that his son? Yeah, Goro Miyazaki in a very negative light. It almost ruined him. But the only thing that I think kept him afloat was because he was the son of Hayao Miyazaki. Yeah, people had faith. People had a little bit of faith. But this movie sucked. This movie was horrible. We start out with the movie with the main character killing his dad, who is the king, for a sword that he barely fucking uses. He kills him for no reason so he could take a sword that was originally... He could take it. He could just have it. But yet again, I don't know. Maybe there's some secret information in the books that I needed to know about. Characters are just randomly put in and then just forgotten about or just never mentioned again. And voice acting, generally, sucks. The only good thing about this movie are 3 things. One of them is the main character's, friend, who is Sparrowhawk. He was voiced by someone really popular. I think he was Mark Hamill. He did a very good job. Mark Hamill's just a very good voice actor overall. The next was Sparrowhawk's friend, who is the main character's love interest adoptive mother. It's very fucking weird. But, it's weird when I say it, but she was also very good. I liked her character. I liked the voice actor who did her. Even though it didn't seem like she did much, I know that she at least somewhat cared about it and cared about what she was doing, and I really liked that. And the last thing about it was their last, big celebrity name for this movie, and holy shit, it was awesome. It was Willem Dafoe. It just thundered after I said Willem. So... Yes, it's raining. Thank you. Thank you, Florida.
Willem Dafoe, are you out there?
Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe was in this movie. He played the main villain, and he gave us such a Willem Dafoe gave such an amazing performance as the villain, and overall, I think if you're gonna see this movie, definitely just see Willem Dafoe as the villain. He's just amazing. Yeah, it's storming outside and it's wonderful. It's lightning and thundering outside. It's great, and it's gonna be raining throughout the entire week. It's gonna be doing this for the entire fucking week, and it's amazing. Florida never gets rain, not even in the spring. This is new. But overall, Tales from Mercy, just don't even watch it, man. Don't. Next up, we have Grave of the Fireflies. Now, Grave of the Fireflies, the first time that I watched it, I didn't really get that invested. This is supposedly one of the saddest Studio Ghibli movies. It is about 2 Japanese siblings who are trying to live through the nuclear bombings of Hiroshima. And what was the other town that got bombed? It was Hiroshima and... God, why am I forgetting? Why am I...
You know way more about wars than I do.
Because I somehow I find it interesting. I don't know. But the 2 bombs that were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, thank you, Nagasaki. It's about 2 siblings who are trying to survive after the nuclear fallout. Somewise of that, I don't even think a nuke was even mentioned in the movie, but it was during a heavy part of the war and Japan was getting attacked. And they got a lot of bombs dropped on them. I think there was talk about a nuke, but I think they were away from it. I don't quite remember, and don't quote me on there actually being a nuke in this. There was no English dub that we could find, so we watched the Japanese dub. Japanese dub was very good, yet again. overall, this movie is very sad. Uh, they literally live in a dirt hut and struggle to get food. The main older brother is getting beaten like almost nearly to death for stealing food and trying to survive. A police officer kind of takes him, and shit ensues. I think they're trying to find their mom, but their mom I think is also implied to be dead.
I remember it very clearly.
Okay, yeah, you talk about it. You know better.
I'm definitely listening.
Okay.
Okay, so with the Grave of the Fireflies, basically we open and they're pretty much already in war. They're already getting bombs dropped on them, but they think they can still survive. And then they are sent to live with an aunt of theirs, a faraway relative of theirs, because their town is like under heavy attack, and their aunt's town is slightly more safe. And they realize soon after, near the beginning of the movie, that their mom did get a bomb dropped like right on her, and they know for a fact that she's dead. And their dad, I think, has been dead or missing.
I think their dad was dead. He's been dead.
He's been dead, but they don't really know for sure. I don't think they ever got him back, but he's gone. And then the older brother decides, after his aunt keeps shitting on him and being really mean to him, the older brother decides he doesn't want to put up with it, so he takes his toddler little sister and finds an abandoned mud hut outside of town, and they try to survive on their own, and that's the rest of the movie.
It is very sad seeing them try and struggle to survive, and I think their struggle is very sad, very true. And from most accounts during Japan during World War One are very, very sad. And learning about the struggles that they had to go through, yet again, it's just a genuinely sad movie. Overall, yet again, I don't remember much of this movie. There's nothing much I can say of it other than what Aaron told you. Overall, I think this movie was very good. It is going to go in slightly less than perfect behind The Wind Rises. The next we have Castle in the Sky. We watched this one and I think the English dub, but we actually had a choice between Japanese English and Disney English. The Disney English one is really, really, really fucking bad. We were trying to hey, let's test the Disney one because it's like bigger names. Let's see if it's even better. But one of the main characters is a literal 13 to 15-year-old boy, and the dude who voiced him didn't even try. He sounded like a 24-year-old. The dude voicing didn't even try to give him a younger voice.
I call it the Edward Elric syndrome, where Edward Elric is like a 13-year-old, but voice actors can't decide whether or not they can sound like a grown-ass man or a spooky little five-year-old.
Who was Edward Elric again?
He's the main dude from Fullmetal Alchemist.
Ah, yes, Edward Elric. Ah, you're the jailer? Fuck yeah, bro. Don't get the SK. But, it was just really bad. But we switched to the regular English dub, which was way better. We got an actual, someone voicing the kid and sounding like a kid. He was really squeaky, but I didn't mind. The world was very nice. I didn't like that we were up in the sky a lot, and we didn't really get to see the castle in the sky until the fourth fucking act, because this movie is so long that there are 4 acts. Because all 3 acts are just very, very long. Basically, in the first act, we started off on the ground. We learn about a quick backstory. Then the second one, we're up in the sky with pirates. And then the third one, we're actually on the castle. The castle, the third and the first act, very well. Very good. The second act is, I'm pretty sure you can just shorten down the second act to, 10 or 15 minutes, and the movie would be, just the same. Oh, yeah, roll this is updated, too, for ranked. Okay, cool. I liked the robots. I think that was the one thing that I really liked. I remember the plot twist with the Castle in the Sky was very bad. I don't think it was very well put together, and it just kind of came out of nowhere. some secret agents are chasing the main girl, and then later on we realize that the main girl is actually the heir to the castle in the sky, but the one of the FBI investigators who's following her is actually older than her, so he gets to take the heir because he's actually the one true king of it, and he basically tries to kill her and the dude who's trying to save him, so he can rule castle because he is kind of creepy. Yeah, the main dude is kind of creepy with her. Overall, I like the pirates. The pirates was literally just a mom who I don't even think was their actual mom, and okay, then we'll believe that the leader of the pirate crew was actually their mom, and the entire crew was just filled with her, with like 13 of her sons. And the moment that they were trying to capture the girl and the boy, they were like, we don't really care anymore. You two are really nice, and I really just want to hang out with this girl, man. I have so many sons. And then she's like, oh, the two are in love. Okay, well, I guess we don't really need to turn them in after all. We kind of like them. And all of the sons are like genuinely platonically thirsting over the girl. Platonically. Yeah, they're so happy to just have a sister, and they treat her so nice. They're not even creepy towards it. They're just, hey, we don't really get to see a lot of girls around, and you're really pretty, and we're just gonna stay in the kitchen and help you do chores. Yeah, platonically thirsting over the girl. Like, they're not creepy about it. They don't even ask her out. They don't even like really give her any suggestive compliments. It's just, oh, you're here? I want to be with you. Little sister. Yeah, let's go. Got our own little sister. Overall, I think the movie was very enjoyable. There are a lot of bad stuff with it that I think does hinder it, but I don't think it hinders it that much. I think the characters are way too strong for it to even be counted against it. Overall, I think this film is an enjoyable behind Princess Mononoke. Now, I know it's pretty low, but yet again, Princess Mononoke, I said that movie was great. I said the movie was awesome. Castle in the Sky is awesome too. I just think that it's not as good as some of these movies appear. So don't like if Castle in the Sky is your favorite movie, don't like go immediately like, oh, this is now my worst hated movie, or I'm wrong. Just this is my opinion, this is how I think of it, and I'm telling you why I'm thinking of it, and why I'm giving my reasons for why I'm putting it in that specific spot. Yet again, I think all of these movies are great in their own little way. There are only a couple movies I completely disagree with and I think are actually bad. Yes, disagree with it. The next one we have is Only Yesterday. Only Yesterday was a surprising surprise. And I know that's really funny, but this movie was... I was told that this movie was going to be kind of boring, and that it was... That was just kind of it. I was told that this movie was going to be boring. This movie's story was really nice. And I think it was very well put together. It goes through this woman's life, going through her present life and her childhood life, and I think just trying to live through the struggles with becoming an adult and comparing them to child. And she meets someone who just kind of reconnects both her adult and her childhood side together, which basically reunites her to a whole different person, and in turn makes her happier. I think it's just reconnecting with your child side, and I think that's why this movie is so good. But yet again, I could be completely wrong on the interpretation of the film. I haven't seen it in a while. I know it's fucking good, and I do want to watch it again. It is really, really, really fucking good. And even the flashback sequences they changed their art style for the flashback sequences, and it's really nice. It's a nice contrast between, not without telling you, but specifically showing when we are going into a flashback sequence when the art changes. Overall, this movie is very nice. I don't really think I have that much wrong with it. The English dub is okay. All the characters are really nice and likable. The world is just basic infrastructure. There's nothing really much to say about it other than the fields that she starts to work in. The art is exceptional, and I think this movie is just generally good. We'll put this in slightly less than perfect, and this will be at the right of the tier. Next, we have Ocean Waves. And it also just thundered again, because this is going to be... Every single time I talk about a bad movie, it's going to thunder. Because this is a bad movie. This was released by Hayao Miyazaki, correct? Yes.
I don't think so. I think I'm pretty sure for Ocean Waves, I will double check, but I'm pretty sure for Ocean Waves, it was not Miyazaki, but Studio Ghibli asked a different team that was under Ghibli to work on it so it could be released straight for television. Because it's definitely not It's definitely not Miyazaki quality, but it does have that feeling of... I know for a fact they had a different team or a different group of people work on it. Like interns, beginners, or something.
Yeah. I remember throughout the entire time when we finished this movie, we were desperately trying to figure out if it was worse or better than Tales from Earthsea. And I'm pretty sure we were on that debate for like an hour or two. It was like a tough call to consider if it was worse or better than Tales from Earthsea, because God knows it is worse than Castle in the Sky. So it was either better or worse. Overall, I'll spoil it for you. This movie is better than Tales from Earthsea. It is not good enough. It is not bad enough to be in its own tier, so it'll stay in mediocre. This movie, I think, was considered like the first, like, not maybe the first, but maybe a well-received Japanese film about bisexuality, I think. Was it about bisexuality, or was it about being gay?
I don't think it was either. I think that's how people interpreted it.
Yeah, there was interpretation of the movie being somewhat integrated into LGBT. And I didn't see it, but I think you pointed it out, and I think I did agree with you. I just don't remember. And, okay, sorry. And overall, this movie just kind of had a lot of problems. The love dynamic was very fucking bad. It was just a dude thirsting over an old high school crush who doesn't fucking want him, but he's, like...
They're both, like, really rude about it to each other.
Yeah, they're both just really rude.
Like, she's kind of a bitch, which is forgivable, but he's also a bitch to her. They're just really mean to each other. You're not really rooting for them to get together.
You're just kind of wishing it's over.
And even when they're not actively mean to each other and, like, borderline abusive, they just clearly have no interest in each other.
Yeah, they have no chemistry at all.
And it's not even, like, oh, like, normal high school drama. It's, like, kind of actually upsetting. Like, I think he slaps her at some point.
Yeah, they slap each other towards the end because he didn't protect her from bullies and proceeded to make fun of her.
Yeah, like, she slaps him, and we're like, did he need to get slapped? It's okay. And then she, like, slapped him, like, kind of gently, like, not meaning to hurt him, and he just went...
Yeah, he full on, like, bitch slapped her.
Like, that was just uncomfortable.
And then his friend, who we didn't really see for a good chunk of the movie, just comes in and punches him in the face, and then that's basically how the movie ends.
It was just violent. It wasn't nice at all.
The movie was just very unpleasant. The story and all the dynamics and the characters, like, the first time we see the main love interest, she gyps him of 4,000 yen and just fucking doesn't pay him back. Even though she promised. She lied about her money situation so she could get money from him because she knew he was interested in her.
And they're not even middle schoolers. Like, they're clearly established high schoolers who should be... Like, it's different if you have, like, middle school, like, a middle school couple. It's like if they're violent with each other, like slapping each other, it's like, oh, haha, they'll laugh about this later. When it's like 2 16, 17-year-olds, you're like, that's just violent.
Yeah.
That's just violent.
Overall, this movie is just very bad. Next up, we have Porco Rosso. Porco Rosso, from what we know, had the most strangest critique I've ever heard from a movie. Is that this one didn't have an ending. There was no ending to this film. And I was genuinely intrigued on why there is no ending. And when we watched this, knowing full aware that there was not going to be an ending, I was still mad that there was not an ending. I was genuinely invested in this plot. I liked it. It was very fun. It's also about planes, but it's about a dude who got cursed to look like a pig who just flies a plane. It's not even during a war, it's just during, like, contracts and, like, feuds.
He's a he's not a missionary. He's something else.
I think he's just, like, a contract worker or something.
Yeah, but he does it violently.
Yeah, he's like a mercenary.
Yeah.
Or a merc, yeah. And he gets a plane fixed, and the dude who's trying to fix his plane has a daughter, or a niece. It was someone related to him, and she was like, "Hey, I really want to fix your plane, but you're not letting me because you're being misogynistic. So I will follow you and prove to you I can build and fly this plane with you." And literally, the first time that she does this, she fucking, like, goes overboard, and she does an amazing job. And she, like, solves a feud with rebel pirates against him, and he ends up, like, I don't think falling in love with her.
No.
I don't think he even has a crush for her, but the girl is interested in him.
I remember us being uncomfortable because she was like 16, like kind of young, and he's like this obvious like middle-aged dude.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember us being uncomfortable at something he was doing.
I don't remember. But, the last act, he basically fights someone else for money and literally the girl. The
Yeah.
girl literally puts herself up for the bet.
Yeah, So he Porco Rosso, the dude, is fighting with like this other like plane gang. And they're just a plane gang. I don't even think they're pirates. They're just a plane gang.
It's the most accurate way to describe them.
And they're like, "Where's our money?" And he's like, "I have no money." And they're like, "You have a lady?" And he's like, "No, this is my lady. She's very young. You cannot have her." And she's like, "Okay, listen, boys. All right. Whoever wins in this plane duel will have me forever."
I think the proper term is called a dogfight.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they basically just kind of have a dogfight.
But it's very, like, nice. Like,
It
she's
is.
cheering both of them on because she actually is, like, quite fond of both of them.
Overall, this movie, like, everything that you think is wrong with it when you first see it, quickly becomes a good thing about it. Except that ending. It's just the ending. It literally ends with Porco Rosso winning and then leaving, and then 5 minutes later the credits roll. That is how the movie ends. It is so dumb. And the girl never sees Porco Rosso ever again.
Lesbian and hangs out with his ex-wife.
Yep, she becomes a lesbian and hangs out with his ex-wife. Overall, the movie is an hour and a half long, and when we watched it, it felt like 45 minutes. This movie flew by so fast. The pacing is really fucking good. I think the world is really nice because it's not traditional Japan. It's actually set in France, in Southern Europe, and it's really, really cool to see, like, another part of culture. And that's what I also really liked. I liked the infrastructure, how it was depicted, because I think it was in the 1940s, and France was really beautiful in the 1940s, so I always liked the world. Overall, this movie was very good. This is going in slightly less than perfect, in front of The Wind Rises. Next up. Okay, actually, no, hold on. Not next up. We are halfway done with ranking these movies. We are halfway done. Woo! And it has been, I think, a little over an hour. It's been almost an hour. Next up, we have a film that is considered the precious little baby of art kids all around the world. We have Kiki's Delivery Service. Kiki's Delivery Service was a fucking delight. There was a scene in the movie where it was like weirdly animated, and I found it really funny, and she was just floating up, and I don't know why, but it was just really, really funny to me.
Funny about faraway anime characters where they're just a flop.
Yeah, just faraway anime characters. It's just really, really funny. And it basically just about a girl who goes to set up her own witch shop and, you know, encounters a boy, has, like, a reason to hate him because he's being kind of forceful on her and trying to be her friend, and she doesn't want any a part of it.
No, I think she wanted to be his friend, but he had this really big group of friends, and her being 12 was like,
Okay. Okay. So, as I was told, because I don't think you all can hear Aaron, who is on my futon behind me. I'm not ashamed to say I have a futon, but he said that she genuinely does have a crush on the boy, but he has a big group of friends, so she doesn't feel important. So, but she does kind of lash out, but it was after a genuinely good reason.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Whenever she lashes out at him, it's for a good
Yeah. And the first interaction they have was okay. I think he actually saved her from a police officer. And the second thing, he did something and it got her really mean. And then the third thing, he was coming back to apologize, but she was leaving. And then they made up. But this movie, there's really isn't a whole lot I can really say about it. It's just a genuinely good adventure film.
reason. She encounters a lesbian in the woods. That is all.
Oh, yes. She can't fly for a bit, so she encounters a lesbian in the woods, and who is a painter. And one of the paintings that was shown in the film was really trippy, and I really want that as our wallpaper one day. Overall, yet again, there isn't a whole lot I remember from this movie that I can really say with confidence, unless Aaron remembers most about the movie and you want to talk about it. Oh, he does. I'll let you sit in the chair for a little bit.
No, it's just stay there.
Okay, okay.
So the reason that a lot of art kids actually like this movie is because one of the biggest subplots is when Kiki can't fly and she doesn't know why, so she goes to her lesbian best friend in the woods, and she gives a very important piece of advice where she's like, "Hey, if you can't like do the one thing you love, just like hang out. You don't have to stress. It's okay." And then she spends like a week just hanging out with this random 20-year-old, and like they go shopping and just hang out in her cabin, and it's really cute.
Yeah.
And she has a happy ending with the boy, and it's really sweet.
Yeah, and the boy is an inventor. He likes to create things that are flying, and he gets to go on a tour on a giant Lindenberg for rich people. And he invited Kiki, but Kiki didn't go. I think because his friends were coming along, so she still didn't feel important. But then the Lindenberg starts to crash, and he's still on the boy's still on board, and he's hanging for his dear life, and she can't fly. So this is actually like an actual like deep struggle that I was genuinely invested with, because she was desperately trying to get her power back to save this one kid who she liked, and she literally can't.
And throughout the movie, the whole thing is that when witches reach a certain age, which is like 13 or 12, they have to go to a town and like inhabit that town and do witch stuff in like their own little town. Kiki goes to this town to be a witch in that certain town, and it's her town and no other witch is allowed. So at the very start of the movie, like, she tries to be really cool, but no one knows how to feel about her yet. Like, she doesn't really feel accepted. And over the course of the movie, they all start to really like her, because she's just, like, this funky little kid who can fly on a broom. Why wouldn't you like her? And then, at the very end, when she has to save, like, Philip, I think his name is?
Maybe.
Something with a P, I'm pretty sure. But when she has to save her little boy pal, the entire her out, like a broom salesman, like, loans her a broom, and it's really cute.
And yeah, people were cheering her on.
And then she finally got to fly again to save him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people were actually helping her out. I think the third act was... I'm pretty sure that third act was very, very good. You don't really get to see a whole lot of good third acts. I think the third act in Kiki is very, very good. And very well put together. I want to avoid using vague terms like good. But it really is. It's a really good film. Where does this go again? Ooh, this goes in the perfect tier. Where in the perfect tier? Oh! It's going in front of House Moving Castle. That is where I put it, and that is where it'll stay. Next up, we have Ponyo. Now, Ponyo serves a special place in my heart, but I did not put this on bias. I made sure to rewatch this film. I made sure to rewatch all the films of previous Studio Ghibli movies that I have saw to make sure that my bias isn't actually there. This movie was surprisingly better than from what I remember. This movie is extremely colorful because it was meant for kids at the time, because this was supposed to be like the first theatrical release worldwide for Studio Ghibli. And they wanted to make it a kids movie, so they upped the color palette and they made it very colorful. Yeah, very simplified animation, but it's very nice. Pretty much, there's like 2 acts. It's like a very short kind of film, but the first act we just kind of get the life with Sosuke and his mom, and up until Ponyo is there, we get into the second act until the world gets flooded. And it has Liam Neeson in it, who plays the dad. This movie has a lot of funny lines like "Respect your father, respect your father, respect your father," and yet again, yeah, his hot fucking wife. 10 out of 10 would bang, 0 shots needed. And yeah, I remember like the story that you told me was that this dude was just a really normal dude who just fell in love with the girl from the ocean and just decided to live in the ocean so he could be with her. And eventually just went crazy and believes he's an actual like creature of the sea. Because he has to go back to save Ponyo, but he has to go on the land, so he has like a weed spritzer. Yeah, a weed. Yeah, yeah, a weed killer bottle, and it's full of water, and he's spraying it like where he's walking. And overall, I think this film is like a really nice love story. Although we do deal with like these are like actual kids. These are like 7 and 8 year olds. And they are like really small. The movie is very colorful, and we get introduced to a bomb-ass 25-year-old mom. Her driving skills like are impeccable. Like I'm pretty sure she can drive in Florida or LA and be perfectly fine. It would be like a fucking like Tuesday traffic to her. And overall, like, bruh, she is such a bomb-ass woman. And when the world gets flooded, she talks with the mom for like 2 days straight, just like bonding about their kids. They literally just bond about their kids.
Yeah, Ponyo's mom is like the only Sosuke's mom has ever like met in like a hot minute, because like her husband isn't really around, so she doesn't really know what to do. And then she meets this other mom, and she's like, "Oh my God, you're not an old lady. Oh, let's spend 2 days talking."
And speaking of the old ladies, one of them is voiced by Betty White, of course, but the old ladies are fucking wonderful.
Yeah.
I love every single little old lady.
Sosuke's only friends are just these random old ladies in this elder care facility, and they're so happy to see him every time.
And he's always so happy to see them. And one of them, complete lesbian. She's a butch.
Please pull her up. She's such a lesbian.
Yeah, let me pull her up. Hold on.
Ponyo, old lady.
Oh, we got... Hold on. Let me open up a new tab. That way you guys don't have to see anything. Because this is what happens.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, for all of you 200 IQ players, you all will know. I don't want to get banned yet. Ponyo old ladies. Yeah, let's pull up these old ladies. Let's dissect them.
I love them.
Okay, they got these old ladies right here.
The
These
middle
delights.
is the lesbian. She is so cranky, but all the other old ladies are like, "Oh, we love you so much," and she's like, "No, I don't want friends."
This is the one who is voiced by Betty White. And pretty much they're all in wheelchairs at the care facility, but when the whole entire okay, so backstory, I'm just gonna explain this real quick. There is a giant storm coming, and Sosuke and Ponyo are told to stay at the house, but Sosuke's mom needs to check up on the old ladies at the elder care facility where she works, so she drives over there to see them. They get separated because the world gets flooded, and the entire retirement care facility gets entrapped in an air. They get separated because the world gets flooded, and the entire retirement care facility gets entrapped in an air bubble. And the old ladies just kind of stay there. But the middle old lady wasn't there at the time and went away, so she was out of the bubble. And that'll come into importance later. Ponyo and Sosuke desperately try to go to the flooded, like travel the flooded world to the retirement care facility.
So much about them. It's so cute.
Yeah, and like the last scene is where like the father is like trying to capture Sasuke, and he's running towards the old lady who's like, "Come on, please, get here."
I don't know who that man is, but I don't like him.
He's hot, but he's deceptive. Come here, like just come on, Sasuke. And
Your mom is over here.
yeah, and all the old ladies who are all in wheelchairs are all running around, and they're like they don't want to leave. They're all playing tag. And they all have infinite energy, so they're all just having fun and walking and running around.
They get to hang out with Sosuke's mom, who they love.
Yeah.
They get to hang out with Ponyo's mom, and they're just like, she is so pretty. Oh.
Yeah. This movie is just an absolute delight. The English dub is phenomenal. I think it's really good. A good good whiny kid. They got a good whiny kid. And ham! Ham!
Ponyo loves ham and Sosuke.
Ponyo loves Sosuke! It's just a very loving film, and there's nothing wrong with this film. So in turn, we get the first movie that will appear in the top tier. Ponyo is in the Ghibli movie. Next up, we have The Cat Returns. This Cat Returns. Oh, Hunter, I know you remember The Cat Returns, man. I know you remember. This. Oh, the internet's going down because it's raining. Oopsies. I'm just gonna keep going. If it comes a problem, I'll know.
So, I don't know if anyone here has watched The Princess Bride, but, what's his name? What's his name from The Princess Bride? The dude. You seem a good fellow. I hate to kill you. You seem a good fellow. I hate to die.
It's Inigo Montoya, and,
That is not the dude.
I know, it's not the dude. It's the blonde dude, the one in the mask.
But the blonde masked dude from The Princess Bride, who's just so fucking cool all the time. He's the voice
A
actor.
sex icon for women.
Yeah, he's the voice actor for the Baron from The Cat Returns, and he just plays the same character.
Yeah, the Baron is such a lovely person. He's just
so cool.
he's just a sex icon for all women alike, and my stream is really encountering some problems. Okay, there we go. It's back to where it is. Yeah, even at 1:44 I'm struggling to keep up. Yeah, it's raining, and it's raining hard. I have no idea why, and I'm so sorry to all of you who are putting up with this. But The Cat Returns is an amazing film. It is just about a girl turning into a cat because she saved a cat prince. And I remember a lot of people not liking this film. This film is really cute. It's just like Ponyo. It just deals with this girl falling in love with this cat because she turned into a cat. And he's like trying to save her, and he's showing her a lot of courtesy and love. It's just cute. It's just Howl's Moving Castle, but with cats. And I love the twist. Like, there's a plot twist at the end that isn't like a secret villain reveal. It's just like a secret hidden lore of one of the side characters. But it's so... Ronaldo Moon. Who ate all the cats and all the fish. He ate all the fish, and he was a notorious terrorist. He was considered a terrorist because he ate all their food, and he had to leave. So he just hangs out with the Baron. Wait, they're voiced by the same guy? Yeah, they are. They're voiced by the same guy, Hunter. I'm surprised you didn't tell him that after you showed him The Princess Bride.
I'm pretty sure I did. He just forgot.
Oh, okay.
I think we were watching The Princess Bride, and I was like, wait.
If you're gonna talk, you gotta come up here. They're not gonna hear you.
I think we were watching The Princess Bride. It was either me and Hunter or me and Dakota. We were watching The Princess Bride, and I went, wait, that hot, sexy voice sounds familiar. Wait. It's the Baron.
It's the Baron.
They just play the same character. They both have a dumbass girgirlfriend. They just have a dumbass girlfriend, and they're just so cool. I love them.
Yeah, but The Cat Returns. It's just a really nice film. It's definitely a film that you can just genuinely laugh at. We don't really get to like, what was her home life like? Was it good, or did she have a problem? Because I don't remember.
The main character, her name is Haru, I think, and she had a good life. She's just kind of ditzy. Like, she's just standard high school girl, voiced by the lady who is in The Princess Bride. No, not The Princess Bride, The Princess Diaries. Whatever her name is, I always forget. She's so forgettable. But she's just like a standard high school girl, and she saves this random ass cat with her sick lacrosse skills. And then she gets abducted by the Cat Kingdom, and they're like, "You must marry the Cat Prince, you saved him." She's like, "Wait, no." And then the Baron comes along, and she's like, "Wait, yes? Can I be at his height and just marry him, please?"
And she does.
No.
Well, she gets to be his height.
Yeah. And gets princess carried by him, and she's like, "Oh, listen, I know you're a cat, but damn."
Yeah, honestly. He comes alive at night. He's a doll in the streets, but a freak in the sheets.
Oh yeah, the Baron from The Cat Returns is like this figurine that some random dude made. He's just this figurine, and he lives in like this little town, like the Cat Bureau. He just hangs out in this little town. And he's just a figurine, so the other cats in the Cat Kingdom don't like him because he walks on two legs. He's fucking weird.
Yeah, he's not a real cat. He's mixed.
He has person hands, and they're all like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, he can grab. He has a thumb. Overall, this movie is just very fun. It's a very nice, enjoyable film. It's pretty much on the same level as Ponyo. And also, guess what? We weren't the only people to hate Whisk Her Away. Or find it a little weird.
I liked it.
We liked it, but we only liked it because it catered to a children's audience, where we didn't view it on our own. And the movie is kind of bad on its own. And we're not the only ones who thought that. Or at least I wasn't the only one who thought that.
No, I agree with you. I just liked it more than
Next... Oh, wait, no, I need to place it. Where was it? Oh, it was in between Nausicaa and Marnie were there. Well, Aaron, I said Newt Newt. Matt said Newt Newt. And he is now screaming in pain. You broke him. Next, we have Pompoko. And at this point, we then started to watch all these movies consecutively. I'm pretty sure we watched a movie a day, like, consecutively. And then towards the end, we watched 2 movies a day. We watched Totoro and Spirited Away in one day, and I think Mary and the Witch's Flower and Secret World of Arietti in one day.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. But next we have Pompoko. Pompoko is a Arietti in one day. But next we have Pompoko, a movie about tanukis who are going to war with humans because the humans are ruining their home. It's a nice folktale. That's basically what this is. It's a folktale. They made a movie about Zeus from Disney. That's basically what this is, except with tanukis and what their story is in the Japanese culture. And this movie is NSFW because there are testicles everywhere, and their testicles do play a big part in it. They literally expand their balls, and they literally sit on their balls. Their balls are pretty much normal, and their balls are considered good luck.
Yes.
In Japan, they are. So, yeah, that's a kind of a takeaway, although this is a kid's movie, but I think it's fine in the culture, so I'm not going to discredit it for it.
It's funny.
It is funny.
After the first time you see tits and balls, you're like, okay.
Oh yeah, there are actual nipples and tits, too. The movie doesn't stray away from the nudity, but I think it's okay because it's placed on animals, but yet again, it's placed on... Oh yeah, there are actual nipples and tits, too. The movie doesn't stray away from the nudity, but I think it's okay because it's placed on animals, but yet again, it's placed on animals. But, I don't know, just straying away from the nudity fact, it's got some good voice actors in it. And the story is really nice. It's basic, just telling like a normal war story. They have a 5-year plan in which nothing works out. I think that was also the one thing I really liked about this film. Whenever our protagonists, the Tanukis, are winning, we kind of want them to win. We want the civil young leader to win and lead them to a nice peaceful resolution, and we almost get that. We almost get that when they confirm their existence, and they do exist because they are allowed to shapeshift. And more about that later. And after they told them about their existence, it didn't help. Their home was still cut down. And the way that they interpreted the ending is that they made it ambiguous. You could interpret it as a happy ending, or you can interpret it as a bad ending, a sad ending. You could interpret the ending in any way you wanted.
The thing with Pompoko is that it's definitely a subversion on the typical folklore type of movie, where it does feel very folklorish throughout. But towards the end, it delves into like actual like real world problems, and it relates these like Tanukis versus human folklore problem to like actual real world problems, like deforestation and like where are all the animals who lived in this forest gonna go, and like are they still happy? Like it's very much an ambiguous ending because it relates to the real world where everything is ambiguous, and I really really like that.
Yeah. And with the story of Pompoko with the Tanukis, for those who don't know about the actual Japanese story or have seen the movie, is that the Tanukis are magical beings, and some of them, not all of them, can. Yes, Tanukis are actual animals in Japan, and they, in old folk tales that they used to say, is that Tanukis could shapeshift. They could turn into humans, beasts, anything that they've seen, they can turn into it. And not every single Tanuki can do it, and they put on this big parade in the town to try to scare off the humans, but in turn, one of the humans took credit for it, and their whole scare tactic didn't work. And there is a lot of death in this film. There is a lot and a lot of death. And we get to see it in all brutal action. Overall, I think this movie definitely may not be a forte of mine, but was a very good movie nonetheless. And it will go in the slightly less than perfect category, in between Grave of the Fireflies and Only Yesterday. Next up, we have Princess Kaguya. Princess Kaguya, if you are an art kid, watch it if you want to orgasm for almost 2 hours. And you will achieve that with this film just by looking at it. The story it tells and somewhat of the voice acting, you can pretty much just mute the TV and just watch it, and it'll still be just as enjoyable. But the movie, it is drawn in traditional, like old 1300s Japanese art and illustration. Yeah, with brush pens and watercolors, and it looks very nice. They took a risk with it, and the reason they took the risk with it is because it's based off a story that came and was told around the 1300s when that particular art style was present. And I feel like it was really nice to include the actual art style with the story, and I think that was really nice. I like seeing traditional Japanese illustrations and arts from old times. It's very nice. It's very aesthetically pleasing to look at. It's an intricate and beautiful art design. And this movie is just filled with it.
And it changes the art style depending on the emotional mood of the story.
The art style, whenever she's angry and she's running away, whenever she's happy, everything looks more beautiful and bright.
It is straight up terrifying sometimes. Like, it is unsettling.
Yeah, and it is very scary. And because it also deals with wanting to go away, but not meaning to, because it literally was not your fault, and you have to be forced to be taken away. So you're forced with this depression of, I don't want to leave, but I have to, and I'm going to forget everything that I had here. And it's an allegory for death, basically. but they played it in such a nice way where we grow attached to this girl wanting to get better, and we think that she will, and maybe her parents will understand, and maybe she'll be happy for once, and we don't know. And then something happens and she's in deep distress, and we apparently she's from the moon and she escaped down to earth, and when she was deeply troubled, she basically called out to them, and now they know where she is, but she doesn't want to go. She didn't know. She forgot about her past with the moon, and now she's forced to be taken away.
The reason it's a story about death is because Princess Kaguya escapes from the moon because she wants to believe that life on Earth can be happy. And most of the movie is her trying to be in pursuit of that happiness and trying to find what will make her happy and make her feel like she lived a nice life on Earth. And it's only towards the end when she realizes she's about to be taken away and lose her memories, that's when she realizes, wait, life on Earth isn't just happy. It's full of this tragedy and sadness and grief, and that's what living here is all about.
And she grew up poor and became rich literally overnight because she was so beautiful. And I remember when she was in. Oh yeah, no one saw Princess Kaguya. No one was allowed to see Princess Kaguya, and I feel like I kind of like that because she was really young when she was like kind of an empress, basically a princess. Yeah, princess. And no one was allowed to see her. And I kind of liked that. I liked that grown-ass men weren't allowed to thirst over this beautiful, like, young teen girl. But they only hear stories of how beautiful that she is, so they automatically just kind of think that she's around their age. And I like that they don't get to see her and have their subversion. Basically, it's just a way to not be creepy but still tell the story. Simple terms. And, what else? What else was about? Yes. One of the dudes who was thirsting over her was talking to her about, hey, let's go away together. Let's just live together at nowhere. We don't have to worry about anyone. We can just be with each other. And was like going on this whole monologue about how much he actually loved her and cherished her without using material items to describe it.
And that's when she feels like she could fall in love with this good dude and doesn't have to like.
Okay, so it was actual love that she was feeling. Okay, I thought it was fear, and I wanted to confirm. So
it might have been a mixture of both, like overwhelmed, but she wasn't like explicitly angry.
Yeah, and she was like really happy. She was overwhelmed and also falling in love, feeling like she could be happy if it happened. I guarantee that make a podcast. Yeah, I've been thinking about it. I mean, I can talk for hours if need be. So, I just don't have any good topics to talk about with podcasts. But anyway. With that, she was completely ruined by it by her parents, and if you watch this movie, you will hate her parents. I did. The father doesn't listen, and the mother is almost sheltering.
Yeah.
But yet again, I also had to remember she's 12 or like 13.
Well, she's an adult by the time she dies, quote unquote.
Yeah, quote unquote. But this was like halfway through the movie. So this was like shortly after she became princess. So she was like maybe even 14.
Yeah,
maybe.
like teenager.
Yeah, she was an early teenager. So I understand why the mom did it, but I kind of wanted to see what would have happened. But overall, I think the film was okay. Do you have anything else to add?
About the art style changing depending on her mood. It really does. It really fucking does. Like, the rest of the movie is like this beautiful, polished animation with like this, like, wonderful art direction. And then there's the first time she ever gets like really angry and overwhelmed. Like, it is kind of frightening and unsettling because you can feel her emotions because it's all black and white and all like streaky and it's just all like pencil work and it's so fucking good. And when she wants someone else, like a random dude who's harassing her, when she wants him to feel fear, you, the viewer, also feel fear. It gets genuinely really unsettling, and I was really pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. The movie did a very good job at portraying death and portraying emotions in an artistic way. And I think that's the main takeaway from the movie. Overall, this movie was very good, and it'll go in the Watch It Again category. We have our first one in the Watch It Again category. Next up, we have From Up on Poppy Hill, who was Goro Miyazaki's second official Studio Ghibli film, which did way better. Except this one was a little weird from descriptions that we heard about it being an incest mystery, but it's not even an incest mystery. It's really not. So we follow the plot of a young girl at a school, and she reads a poem in the newspaper that she kind of likes, and then we go outside. A boy who's gonna jump from like a four-story building into like a small water container for a publicity stunt, so they could get traction for their building to not get it torn down. And the girl just kind of goes and helps him out, kind of falls in love with him, and we then find out that apparently they had this. And some side plot goes on with the building and all the girls in the school clean it up and organize it, and they get the president to come and declare that it can't be torn down, and which they end up doing seating. But I'm not going to talk about that point. I'm going to talk about the incest mystery that was apparently there, even though it's not. So even though they have the same dad, they're barely related at all. Basically, with that whole thing is that the main girl's father, who is her biological father, goes to war. And while he's at war, his buddy dies, and he basically takes care of his kid and adopts him. So, and that is the main love interest, the boy. And eventually, they were having another kid come along the way, and they couldn't take care of the other kid. The father's friend's kid who died. He couldn't take care of that kid, so he gave that kid to another family, and they adopted him. So they were only related by family, and they were only related by name for a few days. So it's not even by blood. So it's not even that creepy. It's not even that bad. The one scene. What is the one scene?
So, at one point, they both figure out that they had the same dad, but they don't know the full story yet.
Oh, yes.
So they both figure out that they have the same dad, and the boy is like, this is so weird. We had a crush on each other. Oh god, this is so weird. No, no, no. But the girl's like, hey, we can still be friends. It'll be fine. Like, we really like each other. Let's just be friends. Let's not, like we're siblings. Let's not lose this bond. And then there's a scene where they're like, I love you anyway. And you're like, oh no.
And this was before they realized that they weren't even technically related. So this was a little weird, and painted our main girl protagonist in a weird negative light. But we were at least happy that they weren't actually related, so it wasn't creepy, but we were still weirded out by that scene happening anyway. Overall, From Up on Poppy Hill, it was a nice, mystery. It posed a really nice mystery in a small town, and there were only, 2 settings. It's the houses that they stay in, respectively, and the school. And that's pretty much it. We're introduced to new scenes, for 5 minutes. And overall, this movie was just very good. So we will put this in the Watch It Again category in front of Princess Kaguya. Because I think it genuinely explains... Actually, you know what? No. I think Princess Kaguya is better. Oh, we gotta change. We gotta change in the current system, guys. We gotta change in the current system. And next up, we have Whisper of the Heart. Whisper of the Heart. Ooh! Finally learning about this film from other people talking about Whisper of the Heart. They were talking about other things about the movie, and we watched one video talking about Whisper of the Heart, and it was the first time that we heard that apparently the movie had a weird motif with Country Roads, Take Me Home.
Take
Me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama. Take me home, country roads.
By the way, Country Roads is way better when it's sung by a lady. I'm sorry. It's not good when it's sung by a man. Only a lady.
But yeah, the movie has a weird motif with it, and I don't quite understand it, but it's relating to the plot, so it's kind of like a plot device. So I can't really be mad about it because it's such a small thing. But even her theme, even the main girl's theme is a motif that literally is country roads. Thank you, Matt. I do smell. Actually, nah. But we get to see the Baron because this movie is technically a prequel to The Cat Returns because it features the Baron, I think. There's not a whole lot of evidence connecting the two.
They have the same name, but they have the same name, and they wear the same outfit.
Okay. But yeah, I think it's just the Baron. And, pretty much it's just a love story with a dude who just likes to make violins, and she just learns to love him. It's a slow burn, but she feels like she can't accomplish anything on her own, so she's trying, and she feels utterly jealous by the dude that she likes because he's so much better than her, because he's gonna skip high school entirely and go to college for 10 years to make violins. And she can't really deal with that because he's so much better than her, and she feels like she can't accomplish anything, so she writes a book. What's the name again? This one is Whisper of the Heart. This is the prequel to Cat Returns. And so she writes a book, and I believe the book is later interpreted to be a series in where that first book is released, and she writes a couple more books, and then The Cat Returns is written. It's our headcanon. What actually happens?
So she just writes this book, and it's not very good, and she knows it's not very good, so she tells herself, I'm going to write way more books. So, and a main character in the books that she writes is the Baron, who's only just a figurine in this world. He doesn't come to life. But she writes a book about the Baron. So it can be interpreted that she later writes The Cat Returns as a book. The story of The Cat Returns.
I think the movie is just a down slice of life romance movie. And I think it's really nice. It's also set in I think 90s, 2000. It's very recent. So it's nice. It's a nice movie.
And the second half is way better.
The second half is way better. And this will go behind From Up on Poppy Hill in the Watch It Again category. And next we have Mary and the Witch's Flower. Now this isn't technically a Studio Ghibli film, but it has a lot of the same people who worked with Studio Ghibli to work on this film. So a good chunk of this movie is pure Ghibli, just from the writers, productions, team, artists, everything like that. And this movie was definitely catered towards kids, and definitely younger kids. This was more on Ponyo level, and it was definitely a mix between Kiki's Delivery Service and My Hero Witch Academia. Little Witch Academia, sorry. Little Witch Academia. And it's a nice mix between the two, and I do kind of like it. There's a lot of manipulation that happened with the first act that I actually didn't even fully process at the time, that could have been fake, and it was genuinely a nice surprising twist for me. She saves a boy that she was jealous of for no reason, but overcomes her difference in a sort of fast but okay way in terms of story and how her character worked. In my opinion, I don't think this film had a lot going for it to begin with, but I also don't think it... Okay, let me rephrase this. I think it had enough to keep itself afloat and to keep itself good, but I don't think it had enough to make itself special. Overall, There's not much I can really say about it. I kind of blocked a lot from it, memories from it. It's an average movie, so it'll stay in the watch it again. And next up, we have our last 3 movies on this tier list, and they are all going in the same tier. Next up, we have The Secret World of Arrietty. This was the second Studio Ghibli movie I ever saw, and I really didn't remember that much from it, so I'm glad that I rewatched it, because it is a fantastic film. It has the girl who played the main girl in Good Luck Charlie, who was always on the video camera, and it also had what was her name? I forgot her name.
Amy Poehler?
Yeah, Amy Poehler. It had Amy Poehler as the mom. And I think that was kind of it in terms of good performance. The rest of the performances weren't really that good, other than the villain of the story, who is the maid. And overall, the voice acting of it was kind of bad. I really think that they should have maybe even recasted or redid a lot of the lines for most of the characters. But Amy Poehler was great as the mom. The mom was very a jittery and anxious person, but generally well-meaning, and Amy Poehler pulled that off very well. And Arrietty is a very strong, level-headed person, and I feel like having the girl who did Good Luck Charlie play her definitely seemed kind of bland at first to the voice that you can hear, even though the delivery is kind of off. But you hear a lot of the passion and understanding of what she's trying to do with the character, and I kind of like that.
It was this girl's first big voice acting thing, I think.
Oh, yes.
And she actually did a really great job. Like, normally when you hire, like, Disney actors to do stuff, they're not really that good. But she pulled it off really well. Like, she definitely suits Arrietty. Like, kind of hot-headed, but overall very calm, like, knows what she's doing. She pulled it off. Just standard teenage girl.
Okay. The world. It revolves around... Oh, okay. Before I get into the world, let me explain the story. So, The Secret World of Arrietty is based off the popular book based... It's based on the popular book called The Borrowers, which are about small people who take the things that you don't use or need anymore, or won't even remember that are gone, and they use it to survive. They are small people using small things to live, like small teapots and like just hold on. Let me they have like small teapots and like just hold on. Let me look up their house and I'll show you the kind of detail they put into the house. Arrietty house. Is it gonna show me the big house? No, it's not. Okay, perfect. Okay. So, this is their house. And we can see that they have like this is from an actual watch that tells the time for their clock, a pen case that holds flowers, half of a soda can tap so where they can hook on their little tiny spoons, like an ink bottle that holds their flowers, like little like nails that are like big enough to hold big shit that they need, like a purse. They have a fucking purse. Their painting is a postage stamp. Their painting is a postage stamp. And their clothes are just basic fabric. There's a bunch of flowers in this film. There's a lot of flowers.
It's really the only thing that they can gather safely.
Yeah.
So
And that looks nice and has a purpose.
yeah, so they're just kind of like, yeah, let's just go get flowers and decorate our house. That's all we need.
Yeah. The house is very nice, and you can always find little details, and I'm like, oh my god, it's that, and they're using it for this. Yeah, the frames are shit, I know. I'm gonna end this. I was gonna do an Overwatch ship, but I'm just gonna wait until some storms clear by, and after I'm done with this... I'm gonna end this. I was gonna do an Overwatch ship, but I'm just gonna wait until some storms clear by, and after I'm done with this Ghibli list, I'm just gonna end it. Because the frames are really bad and it's storming outside. And plus, it's storming outside. It's really nice out. Oh shit. Flapjack's outside.
Flapjack, go!
No, Flapjack was outside. Oh, okay. Well, I guess Flapjack is inside. I thought Flapjack was gonna get caught out in the storm again. She did one time, but it was on her own fault. Uh, yet again, the character's show is a dick, and that's this dude, the big dude. He has, I think, cancer. He has a heart problem, and he's not sure if he's gonna live, and he's scared to get the surgery because he's just scared of death. And he's just kind of a dick, and he's pessimistic, but he has the depressing reason to. But I don't think the payoff for that type of reason is good with his voice actor. But overall, it didn't really bother anything about it. I got to see nice scenery. It was very nice. A lot of detail and work was put into it. So this is going in the Ghibli movies in the top tier. Next up, we have My Neighbor Totoro. And My Neighbor Totoro, from what I knew, was the film that is supposed to accurately depict childhood nostalgia. Or is that it? Childhood nostalgia? Okay, yeah, childhood nostalgia. No. Your childhood imagination. Okay. Yeah, Spirited Away was childhood nostalgia. Okay, sorry about that. It was very lovely. Very, very lovely. It was a very nice dad, and just two little girls who are just having fun, using their imagination in an old empty house that's dirty, and there's like little mites. And then eventually the little girl stumbles across Totoro, who is a forest spirit, and the two of them are just very nice to him, and they're able to see him, and they just have a nice time. The only bad thing that happens in this film is a scare where we think the younger sibling is dead. But she's not. She just ran away because she wanted to go see her mom. And she got lost. And so the main girl is like, oh shit, I can't find her. Oh wait, can I find Totoro and can he take me to her? And she does find Totoro. And Totoro calls his little cat bus, and it takes her to... it was... What were the... Mei and Satsuki. Satsuki is the older one, Mei is the younger one. And Mei gets lost, so the cat bus goes to Mei. And then they just pick her up, and then they bring her home, and then that's the end of the film. The music in this, I believe there was only like one song I remember, and that one definitely triggered some type of like childhood imagination in me, from what I remember, and the song was awesome. I don't know where the song is. It's probably on YouTube, but I don't want to search it up right now. I think this film was amazing, and it just made me realize how much I want to have a little baby girl later on in life. And this movie just didn't help at all. I was just almost constantly having baby fever because I just loved both of the little baby girls. But overall, this movie was very good, and I was pleasantly impressed. That my expectations for the films were up really high, and they were definitely met. So overall, there's nothing really bad about this film. Definitely, if you want to reconnect to some part of your childhood, definitely watch My Neighbor Totoro. And this will go behind Panya. Two gay dads with their daughter and their bed and breakfast in upstate New York. Hey, bro. That's a good sitcom. Okay. And next and last, we have our last movie. And I'm going to pause the music for this. And by pause, just close Spotify. So, we have Spirited Away. This is the last movie. This is supposedly the Ghibli movie. The absolute most popular and best, without a doubt. Every single video you look up talking about this video, it is a 10 out of 10. It is a perfect score every time. Nothing can beat this film about how good it is about accurately depicting childhood nostalgia. This movie did not give me that. My expectations for this film were up really, really high, and they were not met. But looking back at this film, it's definitely giving me this sense of nostalgia. in itself. The film is notable in its own way of being so wacky and portrayed by a child who is basically lost her parents and stuck in this alternate world. I think overall the movie is enough to deserve its own nostalgia. But it wasn't enough to give me childhood nostalgia. But overall, this film, I actually don't think a lot of words can actually describe this film. This film is, without a doubt, definitely very, very good. Everything you hear about this film is right. Although you may not feel the same experiences as most other people, this film definitely will have a place in your heart and in your mind. It's a nice, charming story with a sympathetic main character. And the main interest isn't even a real person. It's a river.
He's just a river.
It's just a river that she liked. It was a river where she was gonna drown, but the river saved her. So it was just personified. The river was just personified, and I feel like that was really nice. It would be like, oh, I was saved by an imaginary force, so I'll daydream about like them as a person, someone who's hot and cares for me, and that's kind of what the movie did. And I fucking love the dude, the black dude, the masked dude, the no face. I kind of like the no face. The no face was a very interesting character. I'll definitely say that. Although I don't fully understand the character that well. Do you know the character? Do you know about No Face's character?
No, he's just a dude.
He's just a dude.
Yeah, just a dude.
I think it was because I know before he was like staring at her and then like stayed staring at her in the general direction until she left the place where she went in. And then he kept trying to give her money. And I believe that if he gives you money, he eats you. I think that was his whole deal. Because I believe people were saying it, and every single time someone got ate, it was because he offered them money. And they took it. But she never took the money. And I think that's what interested him and got him angry to begin with. Was that he just really wanted this one girl, but he couldn't. And I think it's like one of those interesting dynamics where you're irresistible because I can't have you.
I don't think it's a romance thing.
I know it's not a romance thing, but it just makes sense for why he kept following her around and why he was doing the things that he was doing. Because he acts like a friend, and then he offers her money, which is in tune, like, either thanking her, like genuinely thanking her, because he was going to give her a fuck ton of gold. Or it was just a sense of, let me finally eat you. But I don't know.
I think he's a villain that had a redemption arc. Like, she literally put up with none of his shit, and he was like, oh, damn, okay, yeah, okay.
A villain with a redemption arc.
He's described as a secondary antagonist on the movie.
Okay. And he just becomes a little buddy. For a little bit. I think this film, it definitely holds its place. And I think I was a little wrong on my own deduction, but it won't change the place and where I see it on this tier list. But I definitely think I was wrong in my original deduction of this film. Looking back on it, I definitely think it is way better. And I think it did meet its expectations that I had for it. I think it just needed to take some time to settle in. But overall, I do think that My Neighbor Totoro and Ponyo are better. So this is going to go in between The Secret World of Arrietty and My Neighbor Totoro. So here we go. We got the full tier list. We got the full Studio Ghibli tier list. So let's start. From the bottom to the top, we have Tales from Earthsea. We have The Ocean Waves, Princess Mononoke, Castle in the Sky, Princess Kaguya, From Up on Poppy Hill, Whisper of the Heart, Bury in the Witch's Flower, Porco Rosso, The Wind Rises, Grave of the Fireflies, Pompoko, Only Yesterday, When Marnie Was There, The Cat Returns, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, Kiki's Delivery Service, Howl's Moving Castle, Ponyo, My Neighbor Totoro, Spirited Away, and The Secret World of Arietti. And those were most of the 22 movies, excluding Lupin, or just Castle Caglia the Third.
Lupin the Third, Castle Cagliostro.
Okay, Lupin the Third, Castle of Cagliostro. Okay, yeah, that one is just automatically good. The new movie, the 3D animated movie that's coming out, is going to be spectacular in its animation. If you haven't seen the trailer already, that movie is just already spectacular. And if I think I had to put it in a place, it would definitely be top tier. If I actually had to choose a place, I definitely think it would probably maybe be in between Totoro and Spirited Away, or Spirited Away and Arietti. Lupin.
Is not Ghibli, but it is Miyazaki.
Yeah, it's Miyazaki. That's why it's being considered.
Okay.
But if it was considered to be on the list, it would definitely be in the top tier, probably in third or fourth place. Overall, this is the Studio Ghibli tier list. And thank you all for joining and sticking with it for the entire thing. If you all did, I know Matt probably did. Thank you, Matt. You're definitely getting me some views, even though I'm getting literally no fucking money out of it, so it doesn't matter. But thank you for your contribution to being on this stream as well. And thank you, Hunter, for also being a part of it. And you get to see what me and Aaron got to work on for over a year. So, yeah. You should definitely go watch some of these movies if you can. If you have Disney Plus, some of them are on there. Other than that, if you have a VPN, you can change it to Japan, which actually brings me into a nice segue to our